Coach will have an opening statement, then we'll take questions here.
Tough game, obviously. Notre Dame watched, yesterday, saw them live, and knew against Kansas that, they got some real tools. Thought we grew a little bit tonight. We got to play 40 minutes. We got to figure out the backboards. But coming back from that kind of a deficit against a really good team shows you a little fight and shows you some character. I knew coming in here we'd learn a lot about us. This is an elite tournament, as you guys know, with really good teams, and you got to play 40 minutes, in the game. But Coach Shrewsbury is one of the great. He's a great coach. Penn State days, what he did there, and what he's going to do here at Notre Dame. I mean, so much respect for how he does things, and he's on the NCAA ethics committee too. He does things the right way, and is a heck of a coach. And they, a couple possessions better today. And again, we dug ourselves in a hole in the first half, and it's a tough way to play against a team like that with some veteran guys.
Questions?
We got Mike.
Brian?
Steve, were you more encouraged by what you saw in the second half or discouraged by what you saw in the first two?
No, I mean, the second half was, first half, the turnovers in the first half, and that really put us in a bad spot. And we got to plug that hole, and then we got to plug the rebound, and it didn't help. You have both of those in the first half against a really good team that's going to take advantage of that. So, Jay Mike gets a career high, plays hard. We get some awesome minutes out of Bryce Dortch, and really gave us some great energy. We went with a little athleticism down the stretch. So, guys are getting their feet wet in high caliber games, and hopefully we learn from it. And, but we do have to figure out this rebounding thing. It is a problem.
Nick in the front.
Coach, it was a slow start to the first half. What was your message to the team going into the second half that they came out with that energy and with that fire?
They ended the first half, the right way, and Jay Mike gets the tip in on a Bryce Dortch steal. Gave us a little energy, but we're spotting teams at halftime, and our second halves have been good, but it's 40 minutes. I challenged them at halftime, and we keep, talking about guys need to step up, and, I even thought down the stretch we ran some really good plays. We executed. We just missed a couple, open looks that would have kind of made it a little bit different. But, certainly the effort in the second half is how we got to play the whole game, and we got to start understanding that.
Back there.
Steve, you're obviously accustomed to some really good freshmen. Notre Dame this year has Jalen Harrelson. Can you maybe talk about him a little bit and just how he might be difficult to guard and defend?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a matchup problem, and boy, he's eager to get to the rim. Like, he's got, some size and some ability to, go downhill and attack. He's unique, and then when they surround it with guys that can shoot the basketball, that even makes it hard. But they like to get in the paint, and both guys, Burton and he, and when they get in the paint, they cause trouble, and they get you in foul trouble and those kind of things. But, elite driver is what I would categorize him at, and just a hard matchup.
Coach, you talked about Jermichael Davis's career high. Seems to be all over the court, whether it's diving after balls and rebounds, steals. How much energy does he bring to this team?
I mean, he's a self-made player too, and it was good to have his buddy Ace here today to see his career high, and he's just an everyday, worker, and, he's not the most talented, but he fights, and, he had to guard, was good at guard, that's, that you can play, and forced him to 6 turnovers today, which isn't an easy thing. I know he had 21 points, he had to hard, earn those too, but, Jay Mike, just does what you ask, and he's one of those kids too that, sub him in, sub him out. It's always the same. Like, he's just ready to help the team, and you never have enough of those guys.
Mention Ace, what's it like to have him sitting across from the bench watching this game?
Hey, I wanted to sub him in, but I started screaming rebounds, and then he wouldn't help us in that category either. He was last year, he drove me nuts too, rebounding the ball. But one thing about Ace, like, as great a kid and representative of Rutgers as you could have, proud of him. He's going to have a great NBA career. His best days are by far ahead of him. But miscoaching him was too short of a time to have him in the program. But proud of him, man. Smile all the time I see him, and he's got the great energy about him. And watch out NBA. He's gonna do some great things.
27 threes, I think 9 of your first 11 shots were threes. Was that an emphasis, or was that just what Notre Dame was forcing you guys into?
You know, I mean, we could shoot the ball first and foremost. I didn't think we shot the ball great too. I thought we had some good looks that we could make. It's kind of how they play. They play a backline defense, so they're in gaps. And, you know, Micah does a great job of keeping you out of the lane and those kind of things. So, you know, it's kind of what they give. And when we reverse the ball and run, when we were able to get stops, we were able to, you know, get some good looks. I even think we missed a lot of good looks. So one of these days they all go in, then you look like a really good coach. But I thought we got good looks, and we're getting a little bit better in that category, making the extra pass and doing some extra things, you know, to help our offense.
Last one here in the front.
Coach, in a game like today, it seemed like there was a lot of runs back and forth. How do you guys manage those runs on a defensive end and on an offensive end to try to stop that momentum?
Yeah, I mean, again, you try to string together as many good possessions, you know, as you can, and with one day to prepare, it's hard. We wanted to keep them out of the lane. That was one of the big emphasis that we had, and I thought we did a pretty good job because Shrewsbury has been lighting people up, you know, to hold them to 13 points and 3 to 6. I mean, he's been getting a lot of attempts up, you know, so we wanted to kind of ISO, you know, a little bit on him and give less help in his area, but then you got to give a lot of help on the penetration of, you know, of Harrelson and of Burton. So hard team to guard. They've always been good offensively. You know, they do a really good job.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you being here.